Hello, hello. Welcome to the first Craft and Thrift podcast. I noticed on Substack that this is an option, and if I'm honest, I've not listened to any podcasts through Substack yet, but I listen to podcasts on Spotify all the time. Love me a podcast. And I thought, why not give it a go, I subscribe to quite a few Substack newsletters, and if I'm honest, I don't always get through them because time is short. Thank you. And it's sometimes hard to drop it. It's sometimes hard to keep up with all the things that you subscribe to. One of the things I love about podcasts is that I can listen to them, for example, when I'm out on a dog walk, which is where you are joining me today. So if you can hear excessive panting in the background, that's the Labrador. And if you can hear me swearing because one of the dogs won't give me the ball, that's because of the terrier. I thought I'd record a little intro and then kind of see where this goes. In true Amy fashion, I haven't really thought this through hugely. I did a little bit of Googling to see how other people are offering podcasts on Substack. And I found a couple of quite inspiring Reddit posts from older women who were saying that sorry buddy, just accidentally hit the Labrador. Who were saying that it's sort of, one of the ladies, I think was like 55, and she said she'd started a Substack kind of just for fun later on in life, and the podcast element had really helped her growth and helped her engage with her community. And I thought, that's really inspiring. I love stories of older people, but older women specifically, kind of starting over with new projects or new careers or new goals later on in life. Not that 55 is that late in life, but by that point most people have sort of settled careers, settled lives, and I think it can be easy, especially for women, to have a bit of an attitude of like, oh, that could never be for me because I'm far too busy doing whatever, childcare, parenting, work, etc. And no shade on those people, because I don't even have kids. I still feel those stresses and strains and those feelings of, oh, I could never do X because I don't have time. But yeah, sometimes it's quite inspiring to read about people who do make those changes and and ultimately make a success of them in whatever form that takes. So I don't really have any specific aspirations for this podcast. I just wanted to put it out there and see how it's received, and then I guess go from there. Hello, you're going to drop it? Good girl. And I thought I would probably do this maybe once a week. So I currently publish the email newsletter once a week. I should say, if you're new to Craft and Thrift, welcome. Hello, welcome to my dog walk. I write an email newsletter roughly once a week. It goes out on a Sunday morning about mostly sewing, knitting and sustainability. Crafting a handmade sustainable wardrobe is my sort of primary goal that I've been working towards for several years now, where I either thrift second-hand clothes or I craft things that I can't thrift. So I sew and I knit, amongst other creative pursuits. So I recently got a garden, so there'll be more gardening content. I've had bees in the past, so there was some bee content, although that's on hold for a couple of years now, I think. And we're currently renovating an old house, so there will definitely be some DIY content as well. So yeah, I don't really know where this podcast will go. I'm kind of seeing that it would be maybe a once a week sort of informal chat, generally while I'm doing something else like a dog walk or having a cup of tea and watching the birds. And I'd like to think that it could have a bit of a sending a voice note to a friend kind of vibe, because I do that a lot. I have 3 friends that I regularly exchange voice notes with, and I love that. It's a really sort of special, precious part of my life that I look forward to recording them. I look forward to listening to them. I sort of save nuggets of information for those people, because I know that MJ will enjoy something, an anecdote about a fitness goal, and Victoria will enjoy an anecdote about an a sewing person that we followed on Instagram for years. So I like to save up little nuggets of information for specific people. And I guess I would sort of envisage that this podcast would take a similar kind of vibe, have a similar vibe. And then maybe in the future, and this is a big maybe, I love the idea of having subscribers to both my newsletter and my podcast. But when I've thought about it in the past, I've struggled to think about what I would offer people that was sort of different or original enough that they would want to spend money on it. And I don't have anything sort of digital skills wise in terms of like subscribe and get free knitting patterns, which I know some people do, or subscribe and get like loads of extra content, because realistically this is a hobby, a side creative project for me, and I work a full-time job, so there's a limit to how much additional content I'm going to be able to generate, and I would hate to get subscribers and then struggle to keep up with offering them offering them sort of additional content. So I kind of thought if I start with once a week podcast, once a week email newsletter, and then sort of go from there depending on how things progress. I thought the podcast and the newsletter could be additional content for subscribers in the future. So maybe I offer an extra podcast or an extra couple of podcasts a week, or an extra podcast and an extra newsletter a week, or whatever, depending on what people kind of engage with the most. But for now, I think those are my sort of rambles about my new podcast. Thank you very much for listening. If you have any specific feedback, I would love to hear it. I'll probably record another one later on my current craft projects, because I've got a few different things on the go. And it's hard with the newsletter. I do try to discuss sort of my works in progress. That's what my notes from the week posts are about, the sort of little snippets of where I'm at with various projects. But it feels like dedicating an entire post to a project that's not finished or might not yet get finished feels like kind of wasteful content somehow, whereas talking about it on the podcast as a sort of more casual thing feels more accessible. So I think I'll probably record another one of these soon with the projects that I've got on the go at the moment. But in the meantime, I hope you're having a lovely day. It is a beautiful frosty day here in Inverness today, so the dogs and I have been to the park and we're going to go home and have some porridge. Well, I'm going to have some porridge. They've had breakfast already. And I hope wherever you are, you're having a lovely day too, and I will speak to you soon. All right, bye.